What is happening, people? It is Brian Alsruhe with NEVERsate.com, and welcome to the exciting third installment of small changes that you can make to your deadlift that could lead to really big results. Now, in the first part of this series, we talked about bringing everything in so you could utilize as much leg drive as you possibly can, as well as muster all the biomechanical support as possible so that you can hopefully deadlift more weight. Now, in part two, we talked about pulling the slack out of everything, not only slack out of the bar, but slack out of every single area of your body. We're doing this to hopefully negate any weak energy transfer that you're going to put into the bar so that all the power that you actually do put into that lift actually goes into the lift and doesn't just kind of dissipate everywhere else. Which brings us to the third part today, which is going to be stop lifting up the bar. Now, I know that sounds counterintuitive when we're talking about an exercise called the dead lift, but the problem is the way that you perform the deadlift is different than you lift anything else up in the rest of your life. So let's say I'm moving and I ask you to pick up a box and move it somewhere for me. The way that you're gonna pick up that box is completely different than the way that you're gonna perform a deadlift. And the reason why, if you're like most people in the world, is that your lower body and your upper body are going to activate at two different times when you try to pick up that box. If you try to apply that same thing to a deadlift, it does not work out. If you're gonna do a deadlift properly, your lower body and upper body need to work in unison so that you can lift as much weight as you possibly can. And don't feel bad if you pick up a box that way. It's not necessarily incorrect. I pick up a box the exact same way that I pick up an Atlas stone. The problem is when you apply that same thinking and movement to a barbell, one of two things happens. Either you lift the bar in stages, which means that either your butt shoots up first and then the rest of your body chases after it to finish the lift. And I'm sure many of you are either guilty of that or have seen someone who is guilty of that. Or the second thing that often happens is that a person's bar path changes so drastically that it looks like they're trying to move the bar out around their knees to complete the lift, which not only is inefficient for lifting heavy weights, it is also quite dangerous because anytime that the weight gets out away from the middle of your foot, no good things are gonna happen there. Thus, people came up with the cue of pushing the world away. Now, I know a lot of you have heard that cue before, but I'm gonna throw up a couple different visuals here today that will hopefully help explain it a little bit better and maybe give some of you that kind of epiphany moment so that hopefully you'll realize just how big of a deal this cue actually is. So when I say the phrase push the world away, that's exactly what I want you to envision yourself doing. I want you to think about the barbell being an immovable object that is for eternity stuck in one place. It cannot move no matter what. So what I want you to do is go down, grab that barbell, get in your normal setup position, follow all the cues that I talk about in steps 1 and steps 2 of this series, and then simply leg press the earth away from you. Hold on that bar as tight as you possibly can, and then just keep pushing the world and pushing the world and pushing the world until it slowly gets further and further away from you. If you can do that correctly, trust me, your deadlift is automatically going to become better. Now, I'm well aware that in any discussion about cues, there are always gonna be skeptics arguing semantics and saying that certain things don't work for them, but guys, please give this a try. If you can make the switch in your head from lifting the bar up to actually pushing the world away, so many things are going to work out better for you. You're gonna be able to hold your position better, just like in a leg press, as opposed to the deadlift. You're also gonna have a perfectly straight bar path over top of the middle of your foot, which is definitely the most efficient way to move the most weight and the best position biomechanically for your body to support all of that weight. You are setting yourself up for the best possible scenario and giving yourself every opportunity for success. So if you've applied everything that I talked about in parts 1 and part 2 of this series, and now you just push the world away, the second that that bar breaks the ground, I want you to start accelerating it like you are sprinting to the end of the biggest race of your life. Now, most likely that's not gonna have much effect on the bar whatsoever, but it is about the intent that you're putting in it. If you had a sticking point, now you're trying to explode through the sticking point. Breaking the bar off the floor is the easy part. Once that happens, it is time to get in the sprint of your life until you get around your knees, and then make sure that you're using your hips to assist the finish of the lift, and there you go. Hopefully, if you followed everything I talked about, then right now, you are standing with a much better deadlift than you did before. All right, guys, so that is what I do have for you today. I thank you guys so much for staying with me, and I do hope that this 3-part series was helpful to some of you to either tear down your deadlift, to start it over, or maybe reframe some things that you've known for a long time, but hopefully this series will lead to better deadlifts for each and every single one of us. And guys, I do thank you so much for absolutely everything you guys do to support myself as well as the channel. And if you guys do need programming, that is what makes these videos possible. You can either email me at neversate@gmail.com, or if you're looking for a $25 cookie cutter, you can go right to neversate.com and pick one up off of the drop-down menu. But guys, I'm so stoked about just everything that's going on, and just so thankful to each and every single one of you. I actually do have new t-shirts coming out, hopefully around Easter, within a week of that time, so I'm really pumped about that. And also, now that the snow is melted, I will be getting back to work on the log cabin for those of you interested in that. So really just pumped about what is coming in the future. So I do thank you guys so much for everything, for all the support, for staying with me, all of it. I thank you. I will catch you later in the week. Until I do, go out something amazing with eyes. Keep working hard, people. Be nice to each other, please. Nice. I'll see you then.